everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here the first week in August on a really gorgeous summer day. It's just nice and cool and breezy, and I thought, you know what, it's time to do a August garden tour. And I have to say that my garden is looking the best that I think it's ever looked since we've moved here for the month of August, because honestly, and this is partly my fault too, is by the time we reach like end of July and August, I'm feeling a little tired and I'm feeling a little discouraged because things don't look that great. But overall, I'm like really pleased with how things are looking. And although I have lots of ideas of how they could be better, I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to turn you around and show you how everything looks. All right, so starting here on the front porch, you're going to notice those two plant stands there are empty. I used to have two hanging baskets sitting there, and they looked really pretty for a long time. Then they just started to look not so great, I think because of lack of light. So I took those and I planted those out in the garden. I'll show you what they look like now when we get back there. So I want to go up to Creekside Gardens tomorrow and get a couple of plants and stick there, house plants. The arbor there with the wisteria is growing in beautifully, so I'm super happy with that. My baskets are looking beautiful. I just trimmed those up, and I've been better about trimming my hanging baskets this year, keeping them a little more compact, and it's helping them keep flowering. So they look really good. And then I'm going to turn you around here and show you this side of the porch. And this basket looks great as well. And my rubber plant and my spider plant. So everything looks really nice here on the porch. So let's go down front and start our outside tour. So here on the porch right below the wisteria, I have this little cupcake buddleia. But I don't think it's okay, but it's just not nearly the size that it should be, and I keep moving this poor thing. But I think I'm actually going to move it. See, here's the other one. I bought this one at the same time and planted them, but this one I've never moved, so it's really established itself, and that is like the size that it should be, basically, you know, 2 feet by 2 feet. So I think what I might do is move that other little buddleia right here so that it can get more sun and have maybe a better chance of growing to its normal size. So anyway, the hosta that I put underneath the tree there is establishing itself. It's starting to grow, and the willow tree is starting to really root in and grow. It's taken really well to its new spot, so I'm very happy with that, and I can't wait in a couple of years' time. This is going to provide such nice shade and privacy, and this whole bed here is going to end up turning into a shade bed, so I'll be moving this stuff all down to the other beds. But I'm just really happy with the pretty echinacea. Unfortunately though, you'll see that my fountain is not running. The pump went, so I put off buying a new pump because I thought, oh, you know what, the new fountain that I ordered is gonna come, and I'm gonna put that right there, and I'm gonna be moving this one, so why spend the money on a pump this year? But I'm having issues with the order of my new fountain. Now, I put the order in last May, so we are 14 months now, and it finally came in, and it's in the wrong finish. So the company offered to give me $250 off if I take that one, or if I want to reorder the one that I ordered last year. They said, we guarantee it will be here in 30 days. But then we're going to be into September, and then also the delivery on the thing is way more than what I thought it was going to be. So I mean, I just don't even know if I'm going to follow through with it. I'm on the fence of whether I should just cancel the order or not. So I'm very up in the air about my new fountain. So I'm not sure. I have to give that some thought. So I don't know. I'm really leaning towards just canceling the whole thing. I feel very discouraged and very deflated about it. So I think I might just go ahead and
buy a new pump for this guy and get this going again so I can have a fountain in the front here for the last 2 months of September, because I'll probably put this, or of summer, because I'll probably, you know, drain it come like October usually. So anyway, that drama aside, all the things here in the front are looking pretty and established, and oh my gosh, I absolutely love this sedum. It's voodoo. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And it's like got little pink flowers, which, oh my goodness, everybody knows my favorite color is pink. Ah, so beautiful. So it's really taken root and it's looking really pretty. So what a cool ground cover. I can't wait to see that spread and grow in. Down front, all of my annuals are looking really pretty. And then you'll also see the other sedum. Let me step around here. That pretty mound of yellow sedum there. Oh, I forget the name of it. But that is doing so great. Look at that. And I honestly didn't think that that was going to flower. I thought that flowered in the spring. And but it went ahead and it flowered for me. So I'm so excited. And as you can see, pollinators are loving it. But oh my gosh, so yes, I love my annuals and they're all doing great. They've not taken over as I had hoped, but honestly, this soil is not the best. And honestly, I'm not the best at watering these every day too. So I think I need to water more often. My 2 mums that I planted here that were over in the willow bed, they are just going to town. They're doing great, and that one's starting to bloom. So let's step over here, and everything in the shade garden, it is looking beautiful. I only got 1 bloom on this hydrangea this year, and it's faded now, but it was a pretty pink. And my hydrangea around the corner here, they are getting blue blooms on those, but only a few. And I think the problem is that I have never fertilized these plants. I just kind of put them in and I just said, you know, whatever happens to them, because I love them just as much just for their foliage. But I think I really want to focus on trying to get more blooms on these guys next year. So I am definitely going to do fertilizing next year, and I was just reading up on it, and I think they say you're supposed to do an early spring, a late spring, and an early summer fertilizing on these guys. So I'm going to do that next year for sure. My creeping Jenny here is taking off nice. Hostas look good. The ferns look good. The heuchera, this little fountain, is looking good. So all of this stuff I am super, super happy with. Everything's looking really nice. And the moss between my pavers is starting to spread up into this new area here. And that's because as this willow tree grows, more and more of this area is shaded and the moss will take off. But again, I need to keep this more wet because we've not had a really rainy summer. So I need to supplement water and water this pathway a little bit more so that that moss can establish. But all of the new plants that I have put in the front are looking fabulous. My hostas and my ground covers, my lamium. The one thing that didn't do so great over here is I did lose one of the little white bleeding heart that was here. So lost that, unfortunately. Don't know why. But yeah, this is just looking so good. And I'll just kind of pan down that way. All the hostas, everything is rooting and good. That one little bleeding heart is the only thing that I have lost. So I'm happy about that. Ferns are looking big and healthy and good, as well as all my hostas in here. And oh my gosh, my wheelbarrow with the one, this is just one basket of flowers that I planted in this wheelbarrow, and it has just gotten so big. And look at, this is just like one rebel hot pink right there, because this was all and white, the hot pink and white. I don't know where they came from because this basket was all supposed to be purple and yellow. So there's a couple little stragglers that jumped in there somehow and grew, but this is just ginormous and it's looking so good. So very happy with that. It's loving its life here underneath the willow. And again, another view of these new plants that I just put in recently. They are all establishing great. So I'm going to turn around here and we'll continue along to the back. I did put in 2 new hostas in this bed and they are doing good. How pretty. And then this one over here. This has gotten some late blooms. Oh, this one's so beautiful. I love this one. And look at those pretty blooms. Ah, gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And then just kind of a backed up view. Everything looks wonderful over there. I did trim up this lilac. I trimmed the top off a bit because again, I'm trying for more of a bush form. So that's looking good. And look at these hosta, the praying hands hosta. Ah, gorgeous. Look at those blooms. Oh, so pretty. Love that, love it. And Miss America, one of my very favorite all-time hostas. She is beautiful. Looks so pretty. Then over here, my yellow lilies have gone over, and then just some of the foliage from the iris. But look at this sedum. Ah, it is loving its life in this bed. It is just so tall and so thick and so healthy. I can't wait until those heads start turning that beautiful dusty pink, pretty mauve. My catmint, the nepeta here, I did cut it back and it is flushing back with its second growth. It looks beautiful. And this is the best that these little mini echinaceas have ever, not echinaceas, rudbeckias have ever looked. These were actually over there where Miss America is now and just wasn't getting enough sun. So I moved them over here and oh, they've really just taken off now and they look beautiful. Oh, they are so, so pretty. All right, so let's go back through the gate into the back garden and I'll show you what's happening back here. Early August. Oh, look at those very, very pretty flowers on the magnolias. Oh my gosh, they are so gorgeous. There's 2 of them there and they are just doing great. And all kinds of bees all over. And this Russian sage is just covered with pollinators. I don't know if you can see the honeybees, but there's probably like at least 6-8 honeybees here. Gorgeous. These daisies are doing wonderful. This hosta over here, I'm definitely going to move this hosta out and put it somewhere else, I think. I say that, but then I don't do it. So we'll see. But oh my gosh, look at these magnolias. They're so beautiful. Ah, gorgeous. All right. Over here, we've got the beautiful, I don't know what kind of Rudbeckia these are. I just call them fireworks because they look to me just like little fireworks. But aren't they pretty? I love how they poke up through the peonies from the spring, and I still do have strappy foliage in the front from my iris, but I just love this pairing of these items so, so much because the iris are in the front and they form a little bit of a support for the peonies, and then when the peonies are done, the iris bloom, and when the iris are done, then the Rudbeckia poke their heads up through. And I have some shorter versions of Rudbeckia here on the side, which they're starting to come into their own and look good there, and I have some more on the other side as well. along with the daisies. Now, this, I did cut back this, this Nepeta here, and it's getting its second flush. And I believe that this Coreopsis, I'm going to move this over to this bed over here, because I've got this cruisin' Route 66 Coreopsis back here, and I think that I would like to have maybe move this Veronica. What I did is I had 3 bunches of Veronica, 3 little bunches, and instead of putting them all together to form like a bigger clump, I spread them out. I did one here, and one over there, and I think maybe that was not, I just kind of wanted to fill the bed and make it look like a little fuller. And I think I'm going to take these 2 clumps here and move them over there to form more of a substantial clump of Veronica, and that seems to be the best spot over there. That clump seems to be doing the best, because similarly, I took all of my salvia and I put them together to form a big clump here, and I just love it. And this salvia is loving its life in this corner. Don't know if you can see all the bees on this, but there is always at least 6 or 8 bees on the salvia at any one time, and I mean, they just love it, and it's just gorgeous, just gorgeous. That is one of my favorite plants now in the whole garden. It's just stunning. So I want to try to kind of achieve the same thing with the Veronica over here, get them to look a little bit more substantial by putting 3 clumps together, and I'll fertilize them again, and maybe they'll kind of start to boom next year, and that will give me room to put the other Coreopsis, the regular yellow Coreopsis there, and have some more yellow over here. My Lady in Red 9 bark is looking great. It looks like it's settling in just fine. Let's see here. Oh, and this, my Medusa alliums are starting to bud, or they're starting to bloom. I just love the look of this plant so much. I love these little snake head blooms right before they bloom, how their pods look, and I just I love the foliage, everything. I love that. And then here's one of the baskets that was from the front that I stuck in the ground, and it's starting to take off, and it's starting to look really good. The other one I planted over here, it's having a little bit of a harder time. It's blooming, but not super great, but I do see lots and lots of new growth see all the new growth on the stems. It's looking really good. So I've been fertilizing it, and I'm sure it will take hold, but it looks really good. So now I'm going to turn around and show you my vegetable garden. That is doing okay. I did put in some rebar stakes to stake up my tomato plants, and they're coming along, and I'm getting a little bit of fruit here. But you can see down in there, look it, we're getting tomatoes, yay! And there's more blossoms up here, and this has some blossoms on it, and the squash is starting to take off. So at any rate, I know these things are behind schedule, and hopefully we will get squash and tomatoes off of them, but if not, I've had fun experimenting. All right, let's go up here on the deck. Oh my gosh, these poor dogs. They can't stand it. They're stuck inside. All the hosta along the fence look great. I did cut back the flower stalks, the bloom stalks on these after a while, because although I love that kind of wispy, wild, natural, bohemian kind of a look, the bottom line is it's super messy because all the blooms get stuck on the deck, and all over the all the flower blooms fall off and they get stuck to the leaves of the plants, and it just looks really messy. So I think going forward in the future, all of these, I am going to cut the bloom stalks off and not allow them. Maybe I'll just let them bloom in the very beginning and then cut them all back. But Anyway, and then also this is a little plant that I rescued off of the porch of one of my listings, my real estate listings, and it's a vacant property, and nobody was taking care of this poor little thing, so I trimmed it all back, and we will see if it blooms. But it's already looking better. It's pushing new leaves, and I fertilized it and everything. It's a geranium, so hopefully we'll get some blooms on that geranium. All right, I'm going to spin you around, and last thing is my pots up there. They are looking a little tired. I trimmed them back, did some fertilizing on those, so hopefully we can, you know, they'll push more blooms. That one over there is starting to flush back, but this one on the right here is taking its time. But, you know, again, it's early August, and I have had these since the 1st of May, so they do get tired at the end of the season. So usually with a good cutback and fertilizing, you can get them to bloom again. So yeah, that one's looking good. And this one here on the milk can is looking good. This one does get more shade, so this one does fare a little bit better in general. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed this August garden tour. What do you think, Avery? What do you think, Abe? But I hope you enjoyed my August garden tour, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.